All right, everybody, Samori Benjamin here, back at the scene of the worst loss I've ever been in person to witness. That, of course, was Game 5 of the World Series last October 30th. The Yankees, it took them 15 years to get back to the World Series after opening this new Yankee Stadium in 2009 with a World Series victory. And then last year they get back against the Dodgers, a series that I had waited a long time to cover. That was really a dream World Series for me to cover. I had wanted to cover that World Series since 2017 when it looked like those two teams could match up in the World Series, and it came close several times. Never happened until last season, 2024, and the Yankees, beginning in Los Angeles, flew out there for the first two games. The Yankees were 1 out away from getting a big Game 1 victory in the World Series out in LA. And then Nestor Cortes, who had not pitched in over a month because of injury, he was summoned out of the bullpen to face Freddie Freeman, MVP Freddie Freeman, someone who caused Mets fans in this city lots of pain for years. And now, as a member of the Dodgers in that World Series, he destroyed the Yankees, and he started with that at-bat in the 10th inning, bottom of the 10th. Cortes needed 1 out, could not get it. Freddie Freeman hit that walk-off home run. I was sitting in the Dodger stands, and that went from what would have been a great Game 1 victory to a devastating loss. And then, of course, that was the first loss of the series, and the series ended the last loss here with the Yankees up 5-0 after losing the first 3 games. They won Game 4. They were up 5-0 in Game 5 with a chance to put some pressure on the Dodgers and put pressure on them, like how the Red Sox put pressure on the Yanks back in 2004 when the Yanks were up 3-0 and collapsed. The Yanks were about to send that series back to Los Angeles. I was about to go look at the flight prices to make my trip plans back to Los Angeles for the conclusion of the series. And then in that top of the 5th inning last year, October 30th, the Yankees had a Met down, and they were the first team to blow a 5-run lead in a game where they were facing elimination. The Dodgers became the first team to win a World Series, clinched the World Series down by 5 runs in the game. The Yankees made 3 errors in that 5th inning, and it was pain and devastation here in the Bronx as the Dodgers celebrated right here on this field. It was very tough to watch. Lots of Dodger fans came down low, and they were celebrating with the Dodgers. The Dodgers and their fans, their family, Dodgers and their family were out here. The fans were in the stands celebrating. It was tough to watch, but you know what? The Yankees yesterday in Game 2, Game 1 opening day was Thursday. They won that. Yesterday, Game 2, they did something that no Yankee team has ever done. That's hit 9 home runs in a single game. The Bronx Bombers are here. The Yankees lost Juan Soto this offseason. That was the headline of the winter, where Juan Soto was taken from the Yankees and went to the Mets. Can y'all believe that? Juan Soto turned his back on the Yankees after spending a year here, getting the love from the fans, from his teammates, helping the Yankees make their first World Series since 2009. They had a tough loss, and then there was the biggest bidding war in sports history took place, and it was between the 2 New York City baseball teams and the Mets. Stunningly, well, can't even say stunningly because they do now have the richest owner in sports. They were a very frugal run team. New ownership came in about 3 years ago, and now the Mets are spending big money, and Juan Soto turned his back on the Yanks in the Bronx and is now in Queens, but we'll deal with that later. The Yanks, though, yesterday, they said Soto who? With 9 home runs, 3 by Aaron Judge. The first 3 pitches of the game were home runs by the Yankees, and I mentioned Nestor Cortes, who gave up the grand slam to Freddie Freeman in Game 1 of the World Series, right? Nestor is now a Milwaukee Brewer, who are the opponents here, and Nestor was on the mound yesterday. He is the one who had his first 3 pitches in the game hit out for home runs. First time that's happened in Yankee history where they've had home runs on the first 3 pitches of the game. He gave up 7 home runs through the first 3 innings. Rough outing for Nestor in his first start for his new team, pitching against his boys in the Bronx where he wanted to be and loved. Anyway, Samori Benjamin from the Bronx. I'll have more here. Game 3. Yanks have won the first 2 of the year. Milwaukee Brewers in here. I'll talk to y'all soon.